The king is rolling out the red carpet for Emmanuel Macron, and no expense is being spared on this lavish state visit. But what does the government want out of this? Well, my name's Tom Harwood, and remember to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the twists and turns of the British political landscape. Now, Emmanuel Macron has never been on a state visit to the United Kingdom. He has visited on many occasions of summits and meetings, but never has been granted the full honour of a royal state visit. This, where he is greeted by the king, the red carpet rolled out, the inspection of those troops and those guards, and banquet after banquet. The honour of addressing both houses of Parliament, the Lords and the Commons, sitting together for his speech. So much will be done over the course of the next 3 days, and much of it will be deeply symbolic. The UK government wants to say that our relationship with France has never been closer. But of course, it's not just about the symbolism. Underneath this visit lies some clear diplomacy and some big asks from the British government. What is top of the agenda? Solving the small boats crisis. Yes, Keir Starmer has realised that smashing the gangs is not enough. It never was enough. For every gang that you smash that sends people on a small boat, there'll be another one that pops up. Why? Because small boats aren't dictated by gangs in the first place. The gangs arise to meet the demand from the people who want to cross on small boats. In some ways, some analysis of this small boat crisis has been the wrong way round. It's not quite which came first, the chicken or the egg. It's more which is more leading to this sort of demand. Is it the nefarious gangs that are demanding people cross the boats or trafficking these people against their will? Or is it the fact that these migrants, most of them economic migrants of course, just want to get to Britain and they'll pay anyone who says that they can get them there? Well, if that's truly the case, and it looks like that the government is waking up to that fact, they need a new change of direction. They can't simply go through international courts to arrest those gang leaders and pretend that every single person coming across has been trafficked against their will. Of course they haven't been trafficked against their will. They want to get to Britain. But behind the small boats crisis is something that is deeply frustrating, and is a frustrating element of the legal preclusions that are set up around our structured government. What is that? Well, let's be real. The small boats aren't actually getting to Britain. No small boat that has set off from the coast of France carrying illegal immigrants has actually landed on British coastline in years. The reason why small boat migrants get to the United Kingdom is they're picked up in the middle of the Channel, often by the RNLI and sometimes by the Royal Navy. Now, what happens here is not that these small boats break through British defences. It's not that we can't defend our own channel. It's that when we pick people up in the middle of the sea, as we are told to do by the law of the sea, we bring them back to Britain rather than taking them back to France. The small boat crisis could have ended the day it began, had the French allowed us to simply take the people we pick up in the middle of the Channel and bring them back to France rather than bring them to England. So what does the government want to get out of this lavish state visit?
Have you had a random call lately from a strange number, maybe trying to sell you something or even scam you? If so, your info could be out there. That's because of data brokers, shady companies that scrape the internet for your personal details and sell them to marketers or even scammers. These days, scammers can even use AI to mimic your friends' voices and trick you into sending money. It's not just annoying. Data brokers often target vulnerable people with high-interest loans or sketchy offers. But there is a solution. Incogni, the sponsor of this video. Incogni contacts data brokers on your behalf and requests your info be deleted from their databases. And because your data can keep popping up, Incogni keeps sending removal requests to make sure it stays gone. They've just launched a new unlimited plan with custom removals. If you find your info on a weird website, just send them the link and their privacy team will work to get it taken down. Getting started is easy. Hit the link in the description, create your account and let Incogni handle the rest. It's risk-free for 30 days and you'll get 60% off an annual plan with the code GBNews. Take back control of your data with Incogni.
Well, state visits have often been used by British governments as a means of diplomacy. Clearly, when Keir Starmer visited Donald Trump in the Oval Office just some months ago, the trump card he had to play, for want of a better word, in that meeting was an invitation from the King for a second state visit, an unprecedented second state visit. Donald Trump, of course, came during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II for a visit that he looked back on with fond memories in his post-presidential years, or perhaps we should better describe it as his interregnum. But of course, this offer of a second state visit was a means of flattering the President of the United States, and no doubt contributed towards the United Kingdom's tariff reduction trade deal that has been achieved with that country. Still to date, the United Kingdom is the only country that the United States has signed a tariff reduction deal with that covers all sorts of sectors. Now, Keir Starmer tries to hail it as a comprehensive free trade deal. I mean, it's not quite that. It's not the scale of the comprehensive free trade deal that was being sought by Boris Johnson or Liz Truss or even Theresa May for her start of her premiership. But clearly, it is a deal that has made life easier for businesses in the United Kingdom. And in part, the offer of a sort of magical royal state visit helped achieve that. Keir Starmer clearly believes that that same royal magic can be sprinkled on a secular and republic of France. Yes, clearly the French do enjoy beheading their monarchs, but when it comes to Britain, they still have a soft spot for the institution. And this is perhaps why all of the royal regalia is out on show, why Emmanuel Macron is being wined and dined at Windsor Castle, why he's being shown the royal collection of historic French objects, and why there may well be some deals done too. He'll be visiting Downing Street not once, but at least twice in the time that he's here. A busy schedule meeting not just royals and dignitaries, but politicians too. Time in his calendar to meet with the leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, and the leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey. No time, though, found for Nigel Farage. Now, sources suggest that that might be because Nigel Farage is leading just 4 members of Parliament in the House of Commons, and the next general election is not for years and years hence. Emmanuel Macron himself is under term limits in France. He has to stop being French president in 2027. Now that's in all likelihood before the next general election, and so to some extent you can see why the meeting with Nigel Farage is not taking place, given that this parliament is the parliament that Macron will deal with. Indeed, this government is the government that Macron will deal with. Although, of course, you can slightly see why Macron might not want to have met Mr. Nigel Farage. Oh, to be a fly on the wall of that hypothetical meeting. Mr. Farage has, of course, had some choice words for French and indeed Belgian politicians back when he was in the European Parliament. I'm sure we all remember the famous speeches. But clearly, the government wants to win a deal here with Macron. And the deal that everyone's talking about is a so-called one-in, one-out migrant deal. The details are sketchy. We don't yet know exactly how this will operate. But of course, there are many ways that it could. The basic idea is that if someone comes across on a small boat, they get returned to France. But the quid pro quo of that is that Britain agrees to take a different migrant from France through a legal process, perhaps with offshore processing, and take that asylum seeker in the place of the person who got on the small boat. Now, this might not sound like a great deal for Britain, because for everyone that tries to come across on a small boat, we'll just get a different migrant anyway. Why would we choose to do that? Well, there are a few reasons why we might. Number one, people coming across on the small boats very often deliberately destroy their documentation. They want to be unknown to the authorities. Some might want to lie about their age. There are many reasons why they might want to come across through this clandestine route rather than something more legal. Having a more structured and legal route could be a solution to some of those problems of illegality and, frankly, of lies. But there's more to it too. Of course, if everyone coming across in the small boat knew that they were simply going to be picked up by the British and dumped back in France, why would they get on the boat in the first place? Why would they pay the thousands of euros fee to get on those boats if they're only certain to be dumped back in France and someone who didn't get on the boat would get the chance to come to the UK? And this is the magic of the idea. If it is implemented where 100% of those people who get on those boats get dumped back in France, well, very quickly, very few people get on those boats. And very quickly, a one in, one out deal dries up. And it becomes a no one in, no one out deal, because no one gets on the boats. Now that is the ideal scenario in this whole process. If every single small boat migrant could be returned to France and the French accept that, well, then that is a massive win for this government. But according to lots of reporting around this might not be how the deal actually takes place. No, what could indeed happen in this one in, one out deal is that instead of people being picked up in the English Channel and then immediately returned to France, as would be the effective way to stop these crossings, instead what may happen is these people are picked up, taken to England, and only a select portion of them returned to France. Now, as soon as you get below 100% as a number of people who get returned to France who come across on small boats, as soon as that percentage starts to dip down below 100, there's a glint in the eye of those who are trying to come across by small boat. Suddenly, there's a chance. Suddenly, there's a chance of reaching that El Dorado that they call the United Kingdom. And so if, say, half the people who come across on small boats are entered into this one in, one out scheme, well, my goodness me, that's still a 50% chance of successful entry into the United Kingdom. What all of these people have travelled thousands of miles in some case to achieve. Are they going to take 50% odds? You betcha. So if this deal is not close to 100% returns, if this deal includes getting people onto English soil before some are returned to France, you can start to see how the deal begins to disintegrate. You can start to see how this much touted and novel idea of sending people back to France in return for legitimate asylum seekers done through a separate process, you can start to see how that doesn't, in fact, dry up small boat crossings. It's worthwhile taking a look at the wider picture. There has never been a worse year for small boat crossings than 2025. By some measures, 50% higher than the year before, which of course was mainly under Conservative government. But what on earth is going on that is leading to this higher rate of people coming across? Some will point to the more red days that there are in the sea. Those are the government-designated days where the sea is calm, where the sky is clear, where it's frankly easier to cross. But also there is, of course, the idea, the whispers in the camp, that the new government, might be a little bit easier on these asylum seekers, that they scrapped the threat of the Rwanda agreement, that there is now no deterrent for if you come across, you're likely to stay. Indeed, the government boasts about the number of people who have been repatriated, the illegal immigrants who they say have been sent back home. Yet a vanishingly small percentage of those people are small boat migrants. The majority? They're voluntary repatriations, people who have chosen to take a bit of money from the British government in return for leaving this country. Always got to look into those figures, and that's what we try to do here at GB News. But will this deal come off? And will this lavish state visit be the sort of final crossing of the T's and dotting of the I's that actually gets a very novel idea over the line? Or will it be a half-house affair? Will it be not quite the 100% deal that could actually stop these small boat crossings? Might it be something far more tokenistic? Well, we'll have to wait to see before those agreements, if any agreements indeed, are reached. Well, we'll keep a close eye on it here, of course, at GB News, so do remember to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with exactly what is going on in the burgeoning new relationship between Keir Starmer, King Charles and Emmanuel Macron.